What's up, weirdos? Brooke Schofield and Tana Mongeau have been responsible for some of the biggest news on the internet, like, of this summer. Brooke is the girl from that whole Clinton Kane situation, which I made videos about. And then Tana talked about her experience with Cody back when she was 17 and he was an adult. Among other things. Like, there's a lot of stuff that they've talked about, but basically they have been on the right side. Yeah. No, they have been on the right side because on the other side were horrible, disgusting guys. But the tides have been turning on their public approval rating recently. And that's because some of Brooke Schofield's old tweets came out, and believe it or not, white woman in LA? Believe it or not, she actually does have a lot of racist tweets in her past. Can you believe that? I know, it's kind of shocking. And when these tweets that I'm about to show came out, it spawned an explosion. So big and so earth-shattering for Brooke and Tana. I have unearthed so much stuff that I don't think anybody is really talking about in the way that they should be about Tana. And I'm gonna be as fair and honest as I possibly can in all of this stuff, but it is crazy. This video has multiple parts. There is Brooke's racism, there is Tana's response, there is Tana's racism. Tangentially, there's a beef with Alissa Violet, used to be on Jake Paul, yeah, yeet! And exploitation in a way that kind of feels like old school pimping, but for the digital age. From Tana. Nah, yeet. Let's just get into the tweets. Brooke Schofield said, guarantee if Zimmerman shot a white guy, this wouldn't even be a story. Newsflash, this wasn't a crime of racism. It was self-defense. She's talking there about the case of Trayvon Martin, a case in which a neighborhood watch, not even a police officer, a neighborhood watchman, literally Paul fucking Blart, killed a black kid in cold blood. There's no other way to say it. Like, he was just racist and he killed him. And this is Brooke in 2013 saying, guarantee if he shot a white guy, it wouldn't even be a story. Yeah, but he didn't shoot a white guy, did he? He killed an unarmed black teen, right? I don't need to like talk down to somebody because this is 2013. How old was she back then? Age calculate. She was 16 months. Wait, no, 16 years and 8 months. She was not a 16-month-old. Oh, but that's not the only tweet. Some girl said, why do I have the most ratchet hair ever? And if we zoom in on her picture, and Brooke said, my God, I swear I don't want to finish this tweet. I swear I had nappier hair this morning than most African Americans on this end of our country. Hashtag Afro. Just quoting your tweet, I did not feel comfortable saying nappier. That's not a word that, Brooke, we really use to describe our hair. Also, I would say that you shouldn't tweet this. What do you call a Mexican baptism? Bean dip. Cool, did you find that off of iFunny? That's hilarious. You know, because of they're like Mexican, so it's like a little bit, yeah, you get it? How about this one? Yeah, there's four more. Actually, there's even more. She said, Cassie yells racist profanities in the movie theater. Only minority in the room is sitting directly behind us. N-word. Oh no, there's a black guy right behind me, isn't there? That's what you actually said. Well, not what you, but really? Oh guys, I got a funny story. My friend was yelling so many slurs. Turns out there was a black guy behind us. Man, isn't that crazy that there was a black guy behind us while we were saying racial slurs? I mean, sorry, she was. I think the crazy part of that story isn't that there was a black person existing in a movie theater, more that you were screaming slurs. By the way, I know it's not the point of this, but nobody's asking the question, what movie were they watching? Like, what movie were they watching that had them screaming slurs? That would be a dark joke if I were to give an actual answer.
There's a demon in me just fighting to the earth, like.
But I don't even want to go to the, I haven't thought of one to say, by the way. I haven't thought of one. But for real, what were they watching? Wait. Actually. Movies in theaters, June 18, 2015. Which, by the way, she would have been 18 during this. Wait, the #1 movie that day was Jurassic World. They were screaming racial profanities during Jurassic World? What? Jurassic World cast. Okay, when I zoom out, there's only 3 people of color. Irfan Khan, Brian T, and Omar Sy. Shout out Jeff Goldblum. I don't know where you're from. So what, did Omar Sy come on, bury a small side character who's black? And they just start going, hey! Screaming racial slurs during Jurassic World in the movie theaters is crazy. Okay, then the next one is, I said so many accidentally racist things last night, I don't even know how I made it back to America. How do you say so many accidentally racist things? Also, why are you tweeting it? Moving on. Stuart dude, you can tweet, you can answer your phone. I had a question. 2012, so she was 15 calling somebody that. Not cool. Even if it was Stuart Little, it's not cool to call him that unless you yourself are gay. And in that case, you can call Stuart Little whatever the fuck you want. Like, come on. One more, she said, quit calling me when you're drunk. I don't even want you when you're sober. All right. So this stuff all came out, and if you can believe it, people said, hey, I kind of don't like how you were talking about how the hate crime wasn't a hate crime. Hey, this actually wouldn't have been a hate crime if you shot a white guy. Anybody think about that? Hey, if instead of George Floyd, Derek Chauvin had kneeled and killed a white guy, anybody else think people wouldn't be calling that a hate crime? Yeah, that's kind of the whole point of a hate crime. But she was 16 years old and 8 months back then.
Just a little baby who didn't know any better.
Give me a fucking break. That's the general overarching, all right, we're done with you, Brooke. Then also this tweet. How do you like this? America's great again, right after Donald Trump got elected in the year 2016. So she's a Trump supporter in 2016, which would make her 19, almost 20. 19 years old, almost 20 years old, as a still Trump supporter. And then you look down here a little bit. She said, I started faking liberal views when writing college papers, and it's so concerning how much my grades have improved since. Have you considered that maybe when you start talking about progressive ideas in your academic papers, you start to sound a little bit more educated than somebody who's an idiot saying, America's great again. Oh, we're gonna scream racial slurs at Chris Pratt. I said, well, and F slur. Have you considered that maybe when you say that, you sound like a fucking idiot, and when you say things like, I think that America is kind of founded and built on racism. I don't know, because of slavery? Yeah, when you say, oh yeah, maybe slavery has had repercussions, you start to sound a little bit smarter than saying things like, slavery's in the past. Who even cares? Yeah, progressive views generally get better grades because your progressive views are genuinely not fucking stupid. Sorry. Ben Shapiro somewhere.
Well, actually.
So this comes out, everybody's talking about it, and then Aiden Ross has Donald Trump on his stream. By the way, the fact that Aiden Ross was with Donald Trump, dude, that is so embarrassing if you're Donald. Those other guys running the other campaign, doing what their campaign is doing while you're on fucking Aiden Ross on Kick. But Brooke liked it, which is, you know, not from 2013. And the caption of the post was, make America great again. So Brooke, what I want to say to you for that is, that was stupid. Yeah, that's about what I got for you there.
Right, guys, I have had a lot to say about accountability lately and how important it is and how far it can go. And I feel like I'm not taking my own advice. Obviously, by now you guys have seen the tweets that are circulating around. They unfortunately are not fake. Those are real tweets, like real things that I said. First of all, I want to acknowledge that I feel the same way about them that you do. I think they're so disturbing, they're wrong, they're horrible, and they're disgusting.
Real quick, I don't think that you feel the same way about them that everybody does. You probably feel the same way about them that other white people feel. But I can imagine that if you're a black fan, you probably feel a little bit differently. You know, that's nitpicking a little bit. It's like, what am I supposed to say, like, as a white person seeing this video? Like, all right, you didn't say it, all right. But you did say it. And also her saying it right here, like, I've had a lot to say about accountability recently, so that's why I need to come on here and take my own advice. I think that's a really interesting layer of this whole situation with Brooke and Tana. Trust me, there's so much about Tana. We're gonna get there. There's just a lot about this specific situation. But they talk so much, and they have been calling out so many people for horrible behavior, very justifiably. But in those videos, they kind of talk about what the other person would like need to do. Like they need to be doing this, like you take accountability, do this and do this. So now there's kind of a pressure of, okay, you've been saying this about other people. Are you going to back it up? So this is Brooke genuinely trying to do it. And I think she's genuinely trying to do it. But what the fuck does accountability mean? When people say, just take accountability, what does that mean? How do you take accountability for old things other than being like, I'm sorry? How do you actually take accountability for those things? Because it's like, there isn't really a way to like take accountability in a way that's like, all right, it's all fine now. You've seen those tweets. And if for you, you're like, no, they've changed and they've grown and they've moved beyond it and they don't like think that way anymore. I'll continue to watch and support them. Then it's your right to do that. But you have to understand when somebody sees those tweets and then is like, I don't think that I can support this person because I just have seen those things and I just can't do it anymore. It's like there's no version of accountability that makes those people back like on your side. That's fine. That's just called consequence. Okay, keep going though.
Of course, I do appreciate the people who are coming to bat for me and like saying like, you know, it was so long ago and like she's grown and stuff, but like it doesn't fucking matter. Like it literally does not matter. They are horrible. I want to talk about particularly the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman situation. I try not to be so emotional because I don't want it to seem like it's like a sympathy thing at all. I also don't want to blame anybody else at all. And so I'm trying like to be really careful about that. I just want to explain like and give some context.
I don't want to put the blame on anybody else for what I personally said on my Twitter about George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. I don't want to put the blame on anybody else. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. Also, at the beginning of that, she said, I've been getting a lot of messages of people saying it's completely fine. It was so long ago, but I don't agree with that. Here's the thing. It does feel like you are just giving yourself those excuses and then publicly saying those excuses and then being like, no, I'm even better than that, while still giving yourself those excuses for people. But also, you know, people were saying that kind of thing to her. And, you know, it's very hard to make a video like this. But yeah, there's no good way to make an apology video for horrible and vile things that you said. This isn't like this is a misunderstanding. Oh, that's not what I meant. You were saying like racist things. All right, but keep going. She's acknowledging it. She's accepting it. She's doing what she knows.
My mindset at the time, because I have seen like some comments today that are like, well, no shit, she's racist, like white nepo baby, like a little like spoiled brat, like, and that was not my situation. And my parents were addicts, so I was adopted by my grandparents when I was like 10, and I grew up with them from that point on. And as is true for a lot of grandparents, they're a little bit less progressive than a lot of us are now. And my grandma has dementia, so it was really just like me and my grandpa, and he is a very, very right-wing conservative man, okay? It was like my household was literally just Fox News all the time, Rush Limbaugh, like if you guys know who that is, like playing literally all day long through the house, and that was just like the only thing ever that I had been exposed to. A lot of you guys have also seen my mom's Twitter because she was responding back and forth about the Trayvon Martin situation, and I just should have known better. I know her, and I should have known that she's not somebody that I take any sort of political insight from at all. Again, sometimes you like have these people that you like put on a pedestal and you think everybody older than you is smarter than you and knows everything, and they do not. Truthfully, it took me a really long time. Like, I know some of the tweets I was like 18 and people are like, yeah, like she was old enough to know better. Like, honest to God, you guys, it wasn't until like even after college that I really started to like shift my way of thinking. And there are people in my life who I might have looked up to for.
It wasn't until college that I really started to understand. I shouldn't be screaming the N-word at black people whenever they pop up on the movie theater screen. Once I really hit college age, I started to understand, black people. The second word is people. Oh my God, they're people. It took you until college to figure that out? What? Also, okay, I understand now what you were saying by, I don't want to put the blame on other people, but my grandparents and my mom were so racist, so I just was racist. Okay, people are raised, and then they are the people that they are. Like, okay. No, yeah, that is an explanation of why you said those racist things. Very few times does anybody just like start saying a bunch of racist things with no excuse. Like, things lead people to say things, but then they say those things. This sounds like I might not be making any sense, but if you use your life story and your path of existence as an excuse for the fucked up things you did along the way, it's like, yeah, some things were out of your control. It's you who did it and we're mad at you. But you can change and grow. And that's the other thing. You can change and grow. But what are people supposed to do? Like, honestly, what are people supposed to do? If you say something really, really fucked up back then, and then you've actually changed and grown now, and then people find out about it, what do you even do? I'll tell you what you do. You genuinely apologize, which she's trying to do. She's fucking it up, but you show by your actions that you're not that person anymore. And once something like this comes out, it's just going to take a while to see if she continues on this path. Let's keep going. I'm getting into the weeds on this.
I love you all so much. Obviously, I know that there are some people who are just like not going to care for me anymore. Like, I understand that. I need you to know that like is not how I think. That is not what I believe. And I am 27 years old now. I've had so much time to like learn and grow and formulate my own opinions. And they are nothing like they were when I was 17, 18 years old. That's
how she ends her apology video. As far as apology videos go, it feels like she's genuinely sorry, feels like she, wants to grow from this. Yeah. But when somebody tweets out, I started faking liberal views when writing college papers, I started faking liberal views, it's really hard to like believe that they've actually changed because they're in the past saying they're faking it. But you know what? Whatever. I grew up in Kansas in the Midwest, and I personally was surrounded by people in certain places that would have horrible opinions. But as I got older and they started to feel more independent and we like would talk and I would like talk about why they're being fucking stupid, I did see people genuinely grow, genuinely change, and now be people with good opinions of other like races. It's the bare minimum. It's crazy. But I have seen that in my own personal life because I haven't grown up living in a bubble. I haven't. And I have seen people grow and change. So I know that it's possible. But am I gonna say, all right, she's forgiven? No. By the way, I didn't even watch her videos it's not even like I'm a fan. I'm just telling you what the reality of the situation is. And she posted another one. This one's longer, but we're just gonna get into a little bit of it because she's like addressed criticism of her apology video. But we'll just watch a little bit of this one.
I'm listening to everybody, and obviously I am reflecting and looking back on it, and I do agree with everyone that I missed the mark. I obviously saw everything that was going on, and I saw how hurt everybody was by it, so I felt like I just had to put something out as soon as I physically could so that nobody thought I was ignoring the situation or didn't realize how like important it was. But as a result of that, I put out this like very emotional, scrambled video where I essentially made none of the points that I should have been making. First, and obviously most important thing is that I'm so sorry specifically to black people and the other people of color who were offended by my tweets, okay? Because obviously I'm seeing a lot of like positivity in the comments and people saying that they forgive me, and it's all white people, and that's how I know
It's stuff like this though that's annoying. It's like, Brooke, that doesn't need a place in your apology video. Like, okay, what's the point? I'm seeing a lot of people in my comments actually saying it's totally fine. There's no point like to include that. Just cut it out. That's the thing of like needing to prove your case in the apology video, which I get it. You know what? I get it. I get that it's an instinct, but like it's 2020 2024, we've seen enough apology videos. I feel like you just have to, you know. It's good that she said right then, I am directly sorry to black people and people of color, because in the last video, it was mainly more about her, which, you know, she's just trying to talk about her and why she doesn't feel that way anymore. But yeah, I think that the things that she was actually saying deserved an apology, which is what she gets into in this one. So if you're watching the previous one being like, but she didn't apologize to black people, well, let me direct you towards this.
Things that I'm so sorry, specifically to black people and the other people of color who were offended by my tweets.
Specifically to black people and other people of color who were offended by your tweets. Yeah, they were offensive because you were saying things that were offensive and racist. And she knows that, and she knows that.
Educated, and instead I was spreading harmful, very, very harmful misinformation. I had all the educational resources available to me to learn what was right, and I chose not to. However, the murder of Trayvon Martin has nothing to do with politics, okay? The murder of Trayvon Martin was a hate crime, was horrible, and he did not deserve it, and no black person deserves it. When it happened, I repeated disgusting misinformation on a public platform, and I'm genuinely so disturbed by that. I truly...
Yeah, okay, so she's like actually talking about it. Okay, it does feel a little bit like, okay, scanning the subreddit, okay, looking at the comments, okay, these are the things that I need to address, which, you know, what else are you gonna do? What else are you gonna do in these situations? It's just like people demand a PR response, but then the response is a PR response and it feels fake. That's why it's never gonna be good. Like there's never gonna be that's a great apology video. Cause yeah, you say all these things, but it's so clearly like you're doing it in response to all this stuff surfacing. But also, yeah, for me personally, and this is just my opinion, if I was an actual fan of her, okay, let me put this into a different perspective. Me, okay, really big Good Mythical Morning fan. Love Rhett and Link. If it came out that Rhett was a giant Trump supporter in 2016 and he was saying a bunch of horrible things about Trayvon Martin and then also, you know, tweeting out gay slurs, I think that personally, seeing that, going out of your way to say it, for me, I just wouldn't want to watch them anymore. And you can't blame somebody for that. But then on the other side, you have somebody like Hassan Piker who has just an insane compilation of him saying horrible things, like around the same time that she was tweeting these things.
A few things to consider when you're thinking about Lady Gaga as a top contender for Babe of the Week should be the fact that she might have a penis. The fact that Lady Gaga might have a small penis does absolutely terrify me. I want to say thank you to Miley Cyrus for showing off her camel toe at the VMAs the other night. I always knew Hannah Montana was a little slut. Don't even try to hide it.
So if you can have that exist out there and then be at the DNC, you know, with like universal praise. By the way, this is not me like trying to throw shade at Hassan. I'm using it to illustrate a point of people can grow and change. That's the point of what I'm saying. Hi, Hassan. So yes, people can grow and change. Also, yes, you can see that and then go, oh, the fact that you ever did that. Like, you could watch that clip thing of Hassan and be like, it's just tainted and I just don't want to watch him anymore. And I'm pretty sure he himself would be like, okay. Although he'd probably also go, I can't do an impression of how he laughs. Sorry, that was insulting. Okay, back to the other stuff. Fuck, sorry guys. I just realized this video is gonna be long as fuck, isn't it? Oh my god, I haven't even gotten into like the actual crazy stuff. Not that that's not crazy. Okay, anyways, Tana commented on one of Brooke's apology videos and she said, we grew up bad. I love you. And growth from it is the biggest form of prevailing. Which, yeah, that is something that you could probably say to your friend who is going through this situation that Brooke is going through right then. It's probably an encouraging thing to say to somebody who you have like a genuine close relationship with and know that they're actually a good person. Because I don't actually know Brooke, but I'm assuming Tana knows Brooke. Tana vouches for Brooke. But that's not a thing that you leave publicly while there are tweets about where she's talking about Trayvon, where she's talking about how, hey, that hate crime actually wouldn't have been a hate crime if he wasn't black. Insane. So she got a lot of hate for that, deleted it. Then Brooke tweeted out, no canceled episode this week for obvious reasons. We love you guys. Okay, so they canceled the podcast, and then Brooke's mom, who she was talking about how, oh, she's so racist, that's why I'm racist. And her like grandparents are racist. No, let's not forget about how racist her grandparents are. Well, her mom was in some TikTok comments going, wow, what's unreal is that this is what all the Reddit trolls wanted exactly, and it is just as curious as to how did these tweets exactly surface. Probably don't have to pay Paige as much either, right? What the fuck are you talking about, Fawn? You should be backing her up and standing by her, not kicking her to the curb and acting like she actually is a racist or something when you know better. Brooke needs to start being her true self. So sad that Brooke actually thought that you were her friend, ... I could have called this newsflash Newsflash, Brooke didn't do any damn thing wrong except apologize. She's not racist and you all know it. See, that's where you really lose me. She didn't do anything wrong. What about when she was screaming racial slurs at Chris Pratt during Jurassic World with a black guy right behind her? Also, the hate crime tweets and the other racist tweets. So that's who her mom is. So you can kind of see what Brooke's point was about how she grew up. Doesn't mean it's an excuse. I already said that. Brooke responded, yeah, I'm begging you to stop begging. Sorry, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Okay, but those comments that Brooke's mom left were actually on the video that Tana made. So Tana did like the next podcast where she talked about the situation, and then it got clipped and posted on TikTok, and then her mom was commenting. But let's see what Tana was actually saying in the podcast, and then you'll see why this video is about to take a big transition into the Tana Mongeau catastrophe situation. I'm gonna be as fair as I possibly can, but the stuff that I'm about to talk about with Tana, it's gonna sound like a lot, because it is. Okay, but first, let's finish up this situation. This is what Tana had to say for Brooke's absence.
Hello and welcome back to the Canceled Podcast. Obviously, as you guys can see, I am alone on this couch. Brooke is not here with us today, and I want to be abundantly clear that that was my decision. We all saw the tweets, and they're fucked up and they're horrific, and I'm saying that as a white person, right? Like, I cannot even imagine being a black non-fan or fan and reading those tweets. And I've made it very clear to Brooke as well that I condemn her for these tweets, and they're fucking horrible, and I have no right to forgive her as a white person for the things that she said.
Yeah, okay, so here's what I'm gonna say. This feels... Okay, here. See, fuck. I'm gonna be as fair as I can. I'm really trying here. But this is Tana Mongeau, who has been canceled too many times to ever count for so many reasons, all of which very valid, which just goes to show, like, I'm taking accountability. Okay. I don't know what accountability even means. Like, I don't. Because Tana's history, as we'll get into, so much worse than what we just talked about with Brooke. Not to rank hate crime tweets. Not to do that. There's not a tier list. By the way, if there's a tier list of hate crime tweets, they're both in the highest tier of just like, that's crazy racist. We're gonna get into some of Tana's tweets, but it's just very crazy for somebody who has, not to call a woman crazy, shut the fuck up. It is crazy what she's saying because of her past. Like it is, I condemn her. It really just feels like Tana is saying something to protect her own image and to protect her own ass, and she's thinking more about like, okay, what can I do to come out on top in this situation? Okay, this is a really scummy situation. People are looking to me how I'm gonna respond. They are. So my response is gonna be very harsh, very hardcore, absolutely no leeway for her, blah, blah, blah. And I can see why you would do that because that's what everybody wants online. They wanted Noel, when he came back to the Tiny Me King podcast, to be like, that guy's a fucking predator. And if I had known, I would have taken him outside behind a shed. They want that, but like in Noel's case, legally, I'm like, but that's what everybody wants. And I think that Tana is trying to give the people what they want for her response. You know what I mean? It feels very crafted to please the people who are watching it. Is that a criticism? It's an analysis. You can hear that and go, that's bad or that's good. That's what she's doing though, in my opinion. But hey, that's me. Because the thing is, the reality of the situation, and I think that most people watching this understand, Tana and Brooke are very close friends who run a podcast called The Canceled Pod because of how many times these motherfuckers have been canceled for justifiable reasons. And you're coming on here going, it's fucked up. And I condemn her. It is fucked up. I don't know if you can condemn somebody when your history is as bad, if not worse. And also, you're talking about it as if you don't have so many receipts of so many bad things. And what it comes across like to me is just fake PR trying to do the best possible thing for her own image, which I get, but I think it's a miscalculation because people can see the insincerity, they can see the hypocrisy, and they can also kind of see, if you guys are such close friends and you know your histories about each other, like they know their histories about each other, then like, why is this the route that you're taking? It feels more like Tana would be in a position to go, oh guys, no, she actually like genuinely has grown, and I know this about her. You know, it feels more like a type of thing where that would be the response. Like, that's what I was fully expecting from the response, because I thought that she would respond in a way that I was like, oh, this is good, because she's been on a W streak recently. She has. But when I saw this, her response, and by the way, okay, in the other hour 40 minutes of this podcast, I said yeah. But the very beginning of the video, which is this, you in your sweatpants, because I know you just have done this 1,000 times and you know exactly how to do an apology video, sitting on the couch serious, looking directly to cam, it's fucked up. I condemn her. When I see that, it doesn't come across as sincere. And in my opinion, these situations only are healed to the viewer in any way if it feels very sincere. So the lack of sincerity in this whole thing, just kind of like, it was weird. It was weird to see her take this route.
Before I get into a little more of my thoughts on this, I'm also wrong in this situation, and I want to be open and honest with you guys about that. When Brooke made her first apology video, I commented on it and I said, we grew up bad, I love you, and immediately regretted it so hard. Realized how fucking stupid it was for me to fucking say that. I'm going to beat myself up for that forever, quite frankly. It's not my place as a white person to forgive her or add to the problem and further the narrative of white people forgiving other white people.
Okay, I get it. That's really annoying to say though, because the message that you sent, if you sent it to her through iMessage, would have been, you know, supportive and nice, because allegedly Brooke has actually changed and actually grown and actually isn't that person from those old tweets anymore, like a Hassan type situation. Sorry to bring it back up, but it's like, those are crazy for Hassan Piker to have those clips out there. It just shows you everybody can grow and change. But if everybody can grow and change, and Tana truly believes that Brooke actually has, then the thing that she commented on there, it's like, really, you immediately felt, this is so fucked, and I'm going to regret it, honestly, for the rest of my life, and I'm never gonna stop beating myself up for it. That level of, like, really? That just doesn't feel sincere. It doesn't feel real. It just feels like you're acting. That's what it feels like. It feels like she's acting, and it feels like she's talking down. She's like, you know, it's fucked up. I can't believe anybody would say something like that. You are Tana Mongeau. Your podcast is the Canceled Podcast. How are you sitting here like,
I completely condemn.
You don't condemn it because the name of your podcast is making fun of all of the justifiable reasons that you got canceled for. You can't change it now, I guess, because that's like your whole branding, your whole tour. Like, there's so much put into the Canceled Podcast. But when your brand is making fun of all of the things just like this situation, if not worse, and just like making light of it, of like, yeah, we're canceled. I couldn't stop saying the N-word. Anybody else think that's funny? It just doesn't feel real. When you say stuff like this, it just comes across fake as fuck, which is why when I was watching it, I was like, the things she's saying feel like I should not be having a negative reaction to this, but I really, really emotionally am. And it's because I think, I'm not as dumb as she thinks her audience is, I guess. Now, by the way, if you're watching this like, no, she seems fully sincere, more power to you. That's totally fine. But this is the Film Cooper channel. I'm the only person talking right now. And in my opinion, it feels like acting. It feels like PR for Tana's image. It doesn't feel like somebody whose friend, who they genuinely think is a good person, had their old tweets uncovered and then are responding to it. It doesn't feel like that. So that's my point. Now, before we get into the rest of the Tana stuff, which is stuff that nobody is talking about, I feel like, God, I hope that this part of the video people see, because this is very, very important and nobody's talking about it. And I think that it's a big thing that people should be talking about, and there should be a larger conversation on the internet community, and people aren't having it. I'm gonna get to that in a second, specifically related to bad actions by Tana, but I wanna wrap up this Brooke thing first. That's right, I'm talking about it. Leah from Love Island season 6 said about returning on the Canceled Podcast, I'm not going back. I take this topic, actually, let me do an impression of her. I'm not going back. I take this topic, I don't wanna do that. She just has like the LA, like Calabasas voice, but it's to me, it's an accent that just makes my skin crawl because of rich LA people from Calabasas, which she is. No hate to Leah. Hey, although in my heart, after watching Love Island, I am a big Leah Rob head. And to be honest, I'm very sorry. I know that I probably shouldn't like Rob. I know. But when he put on that Woody outfit and said, you know, I hear girls are more turned on by what they hear than what they see. And then he put that handkerchief around Leah and said, you miss me? Oh my God. That's crazy. I actually, yeah, whatever, Rob. Shout out Leah. She's not going on the podcast. Clinton Kane, remember him? Brooke Schofield's incredibly horrible ex. What's go look at his comment section after this. I hope everyone who no longer supports Brooke comes and supports Clinton Kane, because honestly, at least he has talent. Hey, you fucking idiot. This is how people are. This is what people are like. Clinton Kane, in my opinion, from the facts that I saw, was an abusive, controlling boyfriend over this girl. And you're like, I kind of fuck with him. I see people on the internet sometimes on like Twitter and in TikTok comment sections, and like I'm not saying this sarcastically. I do mean this like with my whole chest. I'll see stuff like that, see that they're actually an adult, and be reminded that no, it's not like everybody is just as emotionally intelligent and they were raised different ways, or oh yeah, it's like no, people actually, like people can actually be very dumb. I'm dumb in some ways. This person is dumb. This next comment, now we can all listen to Clinton since Brooke is around racist. And then this one, I'm low-key happy he's getting his redemption. He's so freaking talented. By the way, just because somebody was tweeting racist things 8 years ago doesn't mean that all of a sudden makes their present day abusive ex a good person, because that person wasn't abusing her for being racist. He was just doing it because he fucking wanted to as badly as he could. He wanted to be an abusive, horrible boyfriend so badly, and he did. He did what he wanted. So me personally, when I see her tweeting racist things, I don't then think, oh my God, I actually kind of fuck with that guy who abused her emotionally. No, that's actually kind of sick as hell. He wasn't doing it because she's racist. He's doing it just because he couldn't get enough of it. He couldn't get enough being an abusive, cheating ex. I mean, at the time he wasn't an ex. Okay, let's keep going though. You know, she started posting videos. Brooke did.
Sees everything I am, everything I stand for.
Thank you for showing me that frog, Brooke. You were just saying racial slurs on my feed a second ago, but shout out your frog. She then posted this one.
Just want to know what the fuck y'all be doing to them cats to make them hate you. Cause this mine.
And then people were like, why are you just posting like nothing happened? And she addressed it. She said this.
There really is no definitive end. You know what I mean? There's always going to be more for me to learn. And I am reading every single one of your guys' comments. I am listening to everybody. And I really do appreciate everybody who's holding me accountable. And I love you all so much. And I understand that there's people who are never going to forgive me. And you are completely valid and fully within your right. But it doesn't mean I'm going to stop trying. I am not trying to just brush this under the rug.
Makes sense. I mean, I do think that it's a little bit like, okay, you're posting pretty quickly afterwards. Like you could be petting these cats and holding these frogs without posting about it. But also, yeah, if she genuinely has changed, genuinely has grown, and she's put out 2 full apologies and got completely beat up by her friend on their public giant podcast together, at a certain point, the question is like, so do you want them to retire? And for a lot of people, the answer is yes. And if that's your take, that's your opinion, then she herself said, fine. But if you think that people can learn and change and grow, and then you can still support them after they've learned and changed and grown and proven that and shown that they have like changed, then we've seen with other creators and, you know, humanity that people can change and grow into be better people. But it is not my opinion that, oh, she did this, now everybody should have no problem with her. No, she had all of those horrible things that she has tweeted. And for some people, even if she has grown, even if she has changed, even if she doesn't believe that way anymore, you don't have to support her. And now when I'm filming this, she posted this yesterday, which is about 3 weeks after all of this is blown up. And there's a reason that I took a second to talk about this, because this is one thing, and then the Tana thing, oh my God. The comments on her latest post they're not that bad, honestly. Brooke, please tell me the tour is still a go. I'm not going if you aren't there. Never stop the cat content queen. I love you, Brooke. Please continue out of the platform. I love you so much, Brooke. And the people are white. Okay, a lot of us in the comments. But it is important to say while talking about this story and wrapping up the Brooke Schofield section, in the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, specifically like about George Floyd and all of those protests, and before she was a influencer with a big platform, she had posted this. She said, thought I'd share a few photos from a very peaceful protest in Hollywood this afternoon, as well as a few photos that have really resonated with me over the last few days. Although I have a much larger audience on so she hasn't, she has a bit of an audience here, so, but she's not at the level that she is now, like with the cancel pod and everything. This was 4 years ago. I don't know a single person who would have known her back then. So, take that for what it is. But she said, although I am a much larger audience on my other social media platforms, most people my own age don't need to be convinced that racism is wrong. One of the real turning points in early adulthood was the moment I realized that even the people you look up to your whole life can be wrong about many things, and they most likely are. That tracks with everything else that she has said this entire time about her past and her upbringing, and kind of acknowledging that she herself has grown and changed too. Kind of what that sentence says. So the she has learned and changed crowd, there's a point in that bracket. But she said, people you look up to your whole life can be wrong about many things, and they most likely are. So this post is intended to encourage all my distant relatives and weirdly racist former classmates to turn off the news and do some real research, because this is a lot more than a bunch of misfits breaking windows and looting stores. What's going on right now is really special, and you should be ashamed to not be part of it. Anyway, my point is you either understand the movement or you're racist. Okay, bye. And that's on her Facebook. So that's not really posted for clout, I guess. You know, you can have your own opinion on it. I'm just saying what she is, and I'm just showing you what there is, which I think this is a good message. And for anybody who grows up around people who are like influenced by Fox News, I think that you can do a lot more good than you think that you might be able to do. Because again, I've said before, like growing up in Kansas, you are surrounded, it's like, it's a red area where I came up in, like it is. But during the summer of 2020, I went to one of the protests in Kansas City. And my experience there, I don't remember if you are like familiar with this, but while it was happening, there were also, I'm getting this right, I believe there were also protests in Hong Kong. I believe it was Hong Kong. And there were a lot of people showing videos online of the Hong Kong protesters using like 5-gallon buckets with a hole drilled in them, and then water mixed with baking soda, I believe. If you're gonna do this, please look up. And you would put the bucket over it and then with the water bottle, and it would stop a tear gas canister it would neutralize it. So I went to one of these protests with those. I had like a sack filled with water bottles filled with those things and a bucket. And I was prepared for it to be like that because I had seen everything online of like, oh, it's gonna be crazy. So I go, it's completely peaceful, obviously. Everybody is yelling at the police officers who are there, yelling, obviously. Then we all start marching. We're marching down the streets. Then there is a black guy in front of me who is doing the exact same things that I'm doing, and he got pepper sprayed while we were walking. And luckily, it didn't turn into any huge thing, although everybody started being like, what the fuck? But it didn't turn into a giant fight at that moment. People kept going, people kept moving. That guy got help. It remained peaceful, other than that unwarranted act of violence, which is, you know. And then it got to be late at night, and apparently there is like a curfew in Kansas City. And what I vividly remember is sitting there at night. Everybody is on like this lawn in Kansas City, and there are police officers lining the streets, and we're in like this park area, and we're all just like sitting there facing forwards. It's a moment of community with everybody in Kansas City. The mayor of Kansas City comes down. He's like giving a speech. He's like, oh, I believe it was Quentin Lucas who was there. And then he left a little bit before curfew. And I remember thinking, interesting. It's not even gonna turn into anything, so we're just gonna stay here all night, and it's gonna be like a moment of, oh wow, the protesters stayed there all night. And as I'm sitting there thinking that, watching as a photographer, so there's the police, and then there's the park, and there's like the road. A photographer is from, you know, these people, photographer is right here, facing this way, taking a picture of this group, no problems. And all of a sudden, the police shoot a tear gas canister. And then it turns into a giant mob of people who have just been tear gassed. So people who came prepared for something like this are like shooting fireworks back at the police all of a sudden, then they're shooting a bunch of tear gas. I remember I used my bucket and I had to, there's like this whole crowd, and then like people are like running, trying to get away from the tear gas. I didn't get hit by anything at that point in time. And then there was this like small group of like teenage girls, and they were a little bit in front of me, way away from the big group that had just been like hit. And a cop fucking shoots a tear gas canister at them. So now my dumbass is more in the safe area, running towards the fucking cops with a bucket, with a mask on, because it's COVID time. Like I got a fucking mask and like a black bandana, like fucking goggles and shit, sprinting towards the police like, am I gonna die? And I make it all the way to the tear gas thing, put the bucket on it, because if you carry a bucket around all day with water and baking soda and a chance comes to use it and you don't, it's like, okay, you were just a little bitch who was trying to do it for clout. Like you were just trying to look cool. So it's like, no, the moment has arisen. Anyways, I do it, neutralize it, and then I got shot in the leg with like a rubber bullet or like a sandbag or something. It like fucking broke the skin and I started bleeding. I had a giant bruise on my leg. Then I start running away. I've already neutralized the tear gas. I'm running away and I get shot in the back of the leg while I'm running away. And I say all this to say, I get home, you know, adrenaline's rushing through me. The next day, it is very difficult to walk because of how much pain that leg is in. And I say all that to say, I get online, I see the local news, and they are talking about how it was a violent riot from the BLM Antifa people. And I'm like, first of all, I am very anti-fascist. In addition to that, we were peacefully just sitting there, and then the mayor left, and all of a sudden the cops were like, okay, well now we don't have to take the PR hit of tear gassing the black mayor of Kansas City, so let's just say fuck it. And then they did that, and then they went and like barricaded off and had police formations around the protesters' food and water supply so that they couldn't get that, which is, you know, I believe a war crime, but it wasn't war. But you can't do that? And I see on the local news that they're just talking about it like it was a fucking riot. Oh my God, Antifa was going crazy out there. And I'm sitting there like, and I say all this to say, when you are in a place like Kansas, when you are in a place that is like deeply conservative and the opportunity arises to go to a place like that, you can be helpful for your individual specific community by going out there, actually having the experience, documenting it, and then coming home and telling your friends and family the actual truth, because those people will believe you. If they trust you, they will believe you. So bringing it back, what she's doing here, I think is good, although, you know, I don't know if it's necessarily best to do it in a combative Facebook post saying, if you don't fully agree with me, you're racist. It doesn't feel like it's going to get somebody who doesn't believe in Black Lives Matter to suddenly believe in them, but you in your own community with your friends and family, I do think that you can be a catalyst for growth and change. So there's that message. Be good people, be good people. Now let's talk about Tana, because her statement in that podcast made a lot of people go, didn't you say a lot of racist things too, Tana? Why are you condemning her like so aggressively when you yourself? So let's just look at those real quick, just for a little bit of context to that. In 2012, she tweeted, well, that's an obvious tell that you like sucking black. In 2014, she said, what hurt more, this flame or when you were thrown over the border, you Cuban piece of shit? And I know what you're thinking. We don't have a border with Cuba. You know, Cuba, famously an island? I mean, that's a really good throw. Okay, we can do edgy humor in a way that isn't making fun of Cubans. It's making fun of fucking dumbass Tana Mongeau in 2014. Here's a tweet from 2013. My dad's telling me a story about a black girl he dated. Like, what? A black woman? Oh my God, they can be loved by white people? What? Shut the fuck up. Oh my God. Jesus. Oh, wow. 2014, replying to somebody, cotton picker. Wow. Calling somebody that. Wow. Then, same person. I have a puzzle for you. Imari equals blank IG blank ER. I'd like to solve the puzzle, although I'm a little bit curious because if I already guessed G, shouldn't both G's have popped up? What could that be if it's not? Bleh. So that's bad, and that's just some of them, but we also have to get to her actually saying some of these things out loud.
You fucking... Growing up in Vegas, everybody said those words, and I didn't even know that they were considered racist at all. They were in rap songs, and I totally thought it just meant like homie or like...
I totally just thought it meant like you're a homie or whatever. That's what I call my friends. You're a stupid, Oh yeah, that sounds like an affectionate term for homie. I just heard it in rap songs. You fucking... And then saying it? I don't know, actually the explanation of you saying, I just thought it was homies, that totally makes sense in the context that you were using it, especially when you were calling people online cotton picker, especially when you were calling people fill in the blank and it ends with an ER. So that was a long ass time ago. She has, taken accountability for it. What the fuck is even accountability? Just being like, yeah, I did it, my bad. Like, come on now. This person is going online being like, I will beat myself up forever for commenting that I support my friend. That friend, I absolutely condemn. You are saying that while this is existing of you online. Have some understanding of who you are before you do these things. Okay, she knows all this. She's heard all of this a million times before. I'm not bringing anything new for saying this. And if she's hearing this right now, I'm sure that Tana would probably be like, yeah, he's right. He's, going really hard, but he's right. I do believe that she would say that. I do believe that. In addition to that, the stuff that I'm about to talk about, the really big stuff that I think there needs to be an entire conversation about, and, Tana is a key figure in this, that is not what this is. To get to there, we need to talk about a little person called Alissa Violet. Used to be on Jake Paul. Yeah. If you know Alissa Violet, you're just entitled to a social security check. That's it. Early days YouTube. If you know the name Rice Gum, you probably heard of her. If you don't know them, you're probably too young. And what am I gonna? Go look at the old everyday. If you don't know her, just remember like Jake Paul era. Well, there has been a big fight, big beef between Alissa Violet and Tana Mongeau, and it's basically been about Jake Paul and FaZe Banks and like blah blah blah. By the way, when I hear the name FaZe Banks, I immediately tune out. If somebody's talking about FaZe Banks to me, I just can't care. If you don't know FaZe Banks, he's like the human equivalent of shaved pubic hair debris static clinging to the Sam Smith balloon. Come on, buddy. We're shit talking FaZe Banks right now. But also FaZe Banks was like a really, really good friend for Sketch during that time. So, whatever. FaZe Banks, I just, he's just not my, what do the British say? Not my cup of tea. But he gets an eternal pass for me because of what he did for Sketch. So, okay. Anyways, there's drama between Alissa Violet, Tana Mongeau, FaZe Banks, Jake Paul, like blah, blah, blah. I could really not care less about that. But in the beef, there are some some, videos that Tana was posting and Alissa was posting, and something came out in them.
Actually, Alissa, you want to come on the podcast? You asked me yesterday, you fucking weird bitch.
So she's posting stuff like that, stunting on this girl. And to be fair, we've talked about racism a little bit. Let's throw up the tape. Alissa Violet, racist highlights. Let's go. 2014, Godzilla is legit the coolest N-word ever. She just put heart eyes under my pick N-word. She want the D. Then you call them N-word. N-word, fuck you. Fuck a N-word, kill a N-word, bring him back, kill him again. Gucci. Yeah, and then more of those, just more. I just want to stop saying that because I don't want to get clips out of context. Oh, I know it's already happened. Oh, fuck. But this is where it really happens, because Alissa Violet posted a YouTube video where she was talking about the whole thing. And again, it's all about stuff that's I guess related to their niche and people that they know. It's not something that I would ever talk about or be interested in. But I was doing research for this video. I check it out and she drops this.
Tana and her co-host Brooke made some pretty serious accusations about me, one of which saying I was inquiring to Tana about making an OnlyFans account, therefore implying that I'm some sort of hypocrite. I'm gonna show my conversations with her throughout the
Okay, so yeah, for context, apparently Alissa Violet before had talked about how Tana was really wanting her to do OnlyFans and it made her feel weird. And then on the canceled pod, Tana went on a whole rant where she was yelling, being you were coked up with me, babe. I'll just show you the fucking clip.
You know how many times I've been out with Alissa Violet and she's asked me if she should start an OnlyFans if I can help her because she has no fucking money. And then you're gonna come online and shame me.
That's what I heard.
That's what I heard. So yeah, so this video is out there saying that Alissa Violet asked to be on Tana's OnlyFans while they were coked out. But then in Alissa's video, she posts some receipts from Tana. And I think it's really interesting and we really need to get into all of this because this is the exploitation and this is the thing that I think that Tana, if you're watching, you need to stop this. You have to stop this. The other things, it's okay, you know what, you've done whatever, all this stuff has been out there before. This though, nobody's talking about this actually other than Alissa Violet. Nobody's really making a thing out of it. Sorry, look at Gus. Oh my God. Oh my God, I love this guy so much. By the way, oh my God, literally the Gustav necklace right there. Y'all, I'm working on a restock. I really am working on a restock. I've also got some designs of things that are a lot of stuff is going into weirdo things right now. I have one more necklace that's still in stock that you can get, but for real, I am working on a restock. Okay, because I get a lot of questions about that. Okay, so anyways, the messages say, this is from Tana. Tana said, tell me your thoughts on OnlyFans. And then blue is Alissa. There's no amount of money in the world. Ha 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 ha. Respect it. Had to ask. Ha ha. Why? I was gonna pitch making you a fucking bag, LMAO. How? To make an OnlyFans? Yes, you'd make multi-millions, no question, and show nothing. Then Alissa responds with significant and serious hesitation. The second I announced that I made an OnlyFans, even if I posted pictures of my dogs, everyone would assume the worst, even without seeing what I'm posting. Then the people who would purchase the thing would feel scammed and start a controversy, can't win. Then Tana posts a 3-paragraph essay trying to convince her to do it. I mean, you could wildly control the narrative. Everyone does it, and people, I feel no longer think it's the worst. They would know you're in your bag. I also truly feel no one would feel scammed. Everyone does that. As long as you don't overpromise and underdeliver, it could legit be photos that just don't make it to Instagram. Also, at the end of the day, you have a fuck ton of male followers who are gonna sexualize you regardless. Might as well make a killing off that. Side note as well, on my second OnlyFans page, Tana Gone Wild, I vlog weekly. I vlog me drinking, being fun, wild, etc. People have always loved you vlogging so much. You could do a weekly 10-minute vlog. You don't even have to edit and make a minimum 500K a month off of that. Then you can promote it watch my exclusive vlogs. You should do that. OMFG. Let me be very, very clear what Tana is doing right now. She's trying to get Alissa Violet to do sex work, and then she will take a percentage of that sex work revenue. That is what is happening, okay? And she's really, really, really trying. Also, Alyssa's response to that was, that's wild. I'll think about it. Tana, deadass vlogs, she really wants this. Alissa said, we should just make our own app that has exclusive content. And Tana says, and you could promote it with full honesty. I know, but I swear to God, people make the fucking most on OnlyFans. You'll be buying a house and a Lambo after 6 months, bitch. Then, 3 years before these messages on Instagram, she had also said, start an OnlyFans, we're begging. She said, never. Tana said, I knew it, damn it, had to try. Hey, so what's not really getting talked about right here in these messages, because Alissa Violet is she's talking about another thing, and I feel the lead is getting really buried here. This is an article from MTV, Cuz, what are you doing, man? The title is Tana Mongeau has made her debut as an influencer talent manager, and we're dead serious. But if you read it, it says, internet personality Tana Mongeau is trying her hand at influencer management. She announced this week that she's launching Tana's Angels Agency, a division within the social media marketing company she works with, Unruly Agency. Now, what is Unruly Agency? They are a company with 9 lawsuits against them levied at them by influencers who feel exploited for their sex work. The title of an article about this very thing is, they promised her online fame. This influencer says they exposed her nudes and threatened her instead. Then it says right here, modern day pimps. So Tana Mongeau has her own agency, has her own Tana's Angels division with this company that is being called Modern Day Pimps. With the likes of influencer Tana Mongeau, YouTuber Daisy Keech, Too Hot to Handle cast member turned TikTok provocateur Harry Jowsey, the Claremont twins, and dozens of other social media stars and models on its roster, the Unruly Agency seems to be the place that could take an influencer's brand to new heights. The clients and contractors who've worked with Unruly and Behave Agency, Unruly spinoff for smaller influencers, are warning others against signing with either of the firms, citing sketchy business practices and a ruthless cash grab attitude. The attorney says these guys are basically pimps. His client filed suit last week against Unruly Agency. There's this influencer, Jenny Neiman. Her quote is, I really hope this all comes out because it's honestly disgusting, adds Jenny Neiman, a popular Instagram influencer who walked away from Unruly/Behave in April after being sketched out by what she felt was an inappropriate questionnaire and hearing other horror stories. I think that any influencer that's with Unruly right now needs to separate from them. Somebody who works with the company said, an online security professional specializing in content removal who requested for the Daily Beast, this article, like the publisher, he requested that they withhold his name because he works with several of their top clients. He says that he's seen it all from working in relation to the firm and would advise anyone to stay far away. He claims the people behind Unruly and Behave are pretty bloodthirsty and money hungry and treat their talent as objects. They most definitely don't have your best interests in mind. They are an agency, a company, a corporation that is reaching out to young Instagram models and trying to get them into sex work so that they can then get money from them. They are trying to encourage and pitch young women who are fresh into fame to get into sex work so that they can take a percentage of the money that those girls get from their sex work. There is nothing wrong with doing sex work. I do think that there is something wrong with exploiting other people's sex work for your own financial gain. And I think that when you're messaging somebody over and over again, giving paragraphs about, no, really, you really should do it. Somebody who's saying, I don't want to do it. And you go, no, really, you should reconsider. Reconsider why? Because you have their best interest in mind? No, because you want to take a percentage of their money. And Tana, what you are doing is really shitty and you need to stop doing this. Anybody who is reaching out to Instagram models to try to get them to do sex work for them and their agency, well, we're gonna promote you. Why are you fucking begging them to do it? If they come out and reach out to you and look for help from you, that's one thing. Sure, take a percentage, whatever. Going out, hunting down Instagram models like it's a fucking caribou and you're a caveman, it is unbelievably disgusting. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this. I am engaged to Sophia Diamond. She is very famous online. She is like what you might call an Instagram model or like also a TikToker. She's also an artist. She's an amazing person, fully well-rounded, amazing. But she has big, beautiful boobs. And that, I mean, it's just like, what, is it not true? It is. I get to say that. Don't be weird about it. I can make jokes and like, I've talked to her about it. She's comfortable with me talking about this. Please don't be weird about her. She deals with it enough with her own audience. She gets so many messages from so many people going, hey babe, have you ever considered doing an OnlyFans and showing your whole pussy to the world and then letting me get 30% of that money? Hey, you mind taking off your shirt and showing your whole big old boobs? And then I get a quick 30% cut of that? Babe, I think it'd be a great opportunity for you to expose yourself and get into this sex work and fully just show your whole pussy and boobs. And then I get the money from that. Babe, I think it's a good idea for you. She gets those messages all the fucking time. She turned 18 and got those messages all the time. These people are fucking disgusting. My fiance turned 18 and fucking creeps reached out trying to get her to do sex work when she turned 18 because they're like, wow, you have really big, beautiful boobs. Hey, she just turned 18, you fucking creep. That's what Tana Mongeau is doing. Tana Mongeau didn't do it to, Sophia, okay. But don't reach out, try to convince somebody to get into sex work so that you can then take a percentage off of their money. I am very upset that people do things like this. This should not be an industry. You're acting like it's just, oh, well, it's an agency, we're helping, and we're taking a percentage. You are a modern day e-pimp. I'm kind of being dramatic a little bit, but is it dramatic? Just stop. Do it yourself. There is nothing wrong with doing it yourself. But then when you create an agency to take a percentage of people and then you're going out recruiting people to do sex work and being like, well, you don't even have to do anything. Okay, but like, come on. Do not act dumb about this. What you are doing is fundamentally wrong, and the only way to be forgiven of it is to stop doing it. You have to stop caving to the capitalist cravings. Oh, what's another way to make money? I'm a really famous girl. I could reach out to smaller girls who have like a small core following that will give them a small amount of money every single month. I could reach out to them and then take a percentage of their money. And if I do that to 100 people, all of a sudden I'm fucking rich. You are rich enough. You don't have to take a percentage of other women's sex work. You don't have to. Hey, you know Andrew Tate just got arrested? By the way, it's not at all to compare Tana. Like, here's the thing. I do think that Tana is stupid. I think that Tana is stupid based on like a lot of the tweets that she's done, a lot of things that she said. And, you know, I think she would agree with that she is stupid. But it's not an excuse. And, you know, if you can create a talent agency and partner with this company that is going under 9 lawsuits from people who feel uncomfortable and disgusted by this. By the way, people who have worked with Sophia before being like, no, you should really do it. You should really do OnlyFans. No. And we'll manage it. And then like, it's like, you don't even have to do anything. You just send your nudes to us. And then like, we can like message people on behalf of you. Sophia's sitting there like, am I an object right now? By the way, the fact that anybody thinks that they deserve a percentage of Sophia's boobs, get fucking real. She could like an empire and she would give 30% of that to somebody for just like doing nothing. Fuck out of here.
I have an OnlyFans agency called Tana's Angels Agency. Cool. And I'm looking to recruit some people.
So like, there's a clip of her saying that right there. You shouldn't be recruiting people for sex work. Hey, I don't know if that's a crazy concept to you, but recruiting somebody for sex work, it's not something that you have to do. It's actually like really shitty and gross and weird for you to be doing that, especially when the messages come off as like really like trying to convince somebody to do something that they don't want to do. Damn. Even Gus was weirded the fuck out. Hey, that company that Tana is partnered with and working with, did they have an article written about them in Rolling Stone? Yes. Is the title of that article, No Woman Should Be Pressured? OnlyFans creators are suing an agency alleging exploitation. Yes, that is the title. The 2 new lawsuits claim that Unruly Agency posted sexy pictures of clients that went beyond what they'd consented to. Hey, no, you don't even have to post anything crazy. You don't even have to post anything crazy. Once they sign the contract, hey, if you just post a little bit of nipple, you'd like triple your earnings. Then 3 months after that, hey, if you just like fully pop them out and do a little video doing that, you would make so much money. Like, you've already done this. It's just getting people to do baby steps to get more and more into sex work so that you can make more and more money off of their sex work. And people aren't supposed to say, that's an A-pimp. Come on. I'm stating the facts of the situation. If you're Tana and you're hearing this and you're seeing this and your response is, that's not actually the case. No, you have enough money. You don't need to be making more money by taking a percentage of women's sex work revenue that you pressured and had to convince to get into in the first place. You know what? Fuck it. You can reach out. Hey, have you ever thought about doing OnlyFans? If the response is not yes, then you should say nothing. Even then, just fucking don't. Like, if somebody wants to do sex work, let them do it themselves. By the way, this is not a judgment on OnlyFans or people who do sex work at all. If you are a good person, you just shouldn't be trying to get people to do sex work so that you can take a percentage of their money. And you shouldn't be trying to get like a fucking multi-level marketing scheme of like, well, if I get 8 people to do OnlyFans and 4 of them do like boy-girl videos and the other ones just do straight nudity, then I would make this amount of money. And then if they get people, like, it's not fucking essential oils, it's people's boobs and pussy. Hey, and penis and balls. But I'm saying those are things that people are a little bit more protective about. And when you try to make money off of other people and you're sending messages like really trying to convince somebody to do it, really making sure that it sounds like a good idea, and then the company that you're working with is getting sued by 9 people for being pressured and exploited and made to feel uncomfortable with all of their nudes, you need to take accountability. And the accountability would be to stop fucking doing this, release the percentage hold that you have on these women, dissolve your angels thing, leave that company, and condemn it, have some understanding, have some empathy, and realize if the thing you're doing can literally be described as e-pimping, you probably shouldn't be doing that. Because in my opinion, I don't think that you should be exploiting people's sex work. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. And Tana, if I am wrong, then please come out and correct the record and say that you are not taking a percentage of the women's revenue that you have signed into sex work, because we see that people don't actually like being pressured into it. And the very action of taking a percentage of somebody's sex work in and of itself is pretty fucking reprehensible. If you're not doing that, Tana, you really need to come out and clarify that, because personally, I don't think that it's a good look. I think that it's a fucking disgusting and horrible look. And I wouldn't have even found out about this, and I wouldn't even be talking about it if you hadn't been such a bad actor and so fake in what you said in your response to Brooke, because I wouldn't have done all this digging. But you know, that just goes to show, I don't know what it goes to show. I don't know, because it's like this, hey, a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people are being e-pimps, basically. A lot of them. So what am I supposed to do? Just not do it? And my take and the conclusion of this video is, yeah, just because all your friends are e-pimping doesn't mean that that makes it the good decision for you. But for real, if you're not taking a percentage of those girls' sex work, I really apologize, but you should genuinely clarify that. Like, you really should clarify that, because it looks really bad. Like, taking a percentage of people's sex work that you are, you know, visibly and with receipts of really trying to convince somebody to get into it. And then that company has a lot of lawsuits for people feeling like they were pressured into something, and it, you know, not a good look. You should clarify it, but I'm just saying that because she is doing that from what I've seen. I think I've covered my bases. Oh my God, that was a lot. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed by yet, you have to subscribe. Like, for real, I love you so much.
Wait, do you like my shirt, by the way? Wait, let me button it up. It's actually kind of crazy. Did you ever notice that it's the same as that painting up there? Oh my God, everybody noticed that in the first 5 seconds of the video, Cooper. I am the angel of death. I am Lucifer. I'm not Lucifer, but is this Lucifer? Is that the name of it, or is it the fallen angel? It's one of those. That, I think it's the fallen angel. This one, I think, is something about the fall of Icarus. This one is your fucking mother. That one's your mother.